This is my story. This is my story. 600 bucks a month in the Philippines, everything included. This is my story. I'd wake up every morning and I had one thing on my mind: coffee and pandesal. Pandesal is kind of a bread, a morning roll that's very popular in the Philippines. This is my Airbnb that I was staying at in Cagayan de Oro. Each morning I would exit this Airbnb and I would walk up to the local 7-Eleven nearby my house. Join me on the walk. Now, on this walk, there were good things and bad things. The bad thing is, if it were raining, there are puddles everywhere. The good thing is, if it were sunny, people were smiling. The good mornings were going crazy. Good morning here, good morning there. I loved it. The people in this sort of area I was in, you might call it a slum, but the people were extremely friendly. I love the people there. I miss the people there. Here I am at the 7-Eleven. In this 7-Eleven, I would buy a coffee for 37 pesos. Across the street here, they would sell pandesal for 1 peso per pandesal. The coffee's 37 pesos. I give a 50. I get 13 pesos back. I go to the bakery and I get 13 pandesals. Now I got my coffee. I got my pandesal. Now there's two options for me to sit. I can sit inside the bakery or I can sit they used to have picnic tables here at the 7-Eleven. They were 1, 2, 3, 4. There was about 4 picnic tables here. I would sit at one of these picnic tables. The best part of my morning, aside from the coffee and the warm pandesal, was just sitting there in the morning, watching life go by. This is a very busy road. I would either sit at the 7-Eleven or I would sit inside the bakery. Here's my view from inside the bakery while I was having my coffee, because I took a pic from there. The real enjoyment here every morning was just watching the world go by as I sip my coffee. This is the world in the Philippines. I mean, there's nothing like it. One story about one time I was sitting in front of the 7-Eleven in the morning. There was a bunch of guys out there. I guess it was the timing I was there. Maybe I was there extra early one morning. But there was a bunch of guys, and one guy was sitting at the picnic table across from me. And I asked him, what's going on here? What's all these guys here for? And he says they all want to get work. So what happens is somebody will drive by with a truck. He'll say, I want you, 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 and you. They'll get in the truck and they'll go. I mean, the guys, I don't even think they know what the exact job is. I think it's a lot of construction work, maybe some manufacturing work, but they just sort of hire them, they pay them cash, and if they choose who they want. So if they see someone who they worked with before who they didn't like, they would not choose that person. I mean, this is the definition of a free market. I wouldn't want to be these guys waiting for the 7-Eleven. I felt blessed that I wasn't one of these guys waiting for work here. I mean, I couldn't imagine being these guys hoping to get work, and the work would have been very low pay, probably under minimum wage, I'm sure. They weren't even guaranteed to get work. So anyway, after relaxing with my coffee, I would head straight back home. Join me on the walk back home. Let's go. Let's take a detour, because sometimes I would take a detour because I just loved walking in this busy area. I would take a long way home. Let's go this way home. When I get home, I mean, the first thing I would do is switch on that aircon. I would have a shower and I would lie in bed with YouTube and just enjoy the aircon. I mean, hey, I'm on vacation. After an hour, I would put my laptop in my sling bag and I'd be out of there. I am jonesing for some Starbucks time at the SM Mall and I walk there. It's about a 10-minute walk. Come on, why don't you join me on the walk? Let's go to SM. I would head straight for SM, make a beeline directly for the Starbucks. I would sit inside the Starbucks for about 2 hours. If you didn't know, I am involved in the stock market. At the time of this trip, I wanted to switch from having buy and hold stocks, and I was going to switch to day trading. That's what I really wanted to do. So when I'm sitting in the Starbucks, I'm studying day trading. One issue at the Starbucks in SM is Starbucks doesn't have its own Wi-Fi. They use the SM Wi-Fi, and there's a time limit. I can't remember how long the time limit is, 45 minutes or something, but after the time limit, you have to start using the data on your phone. I loved being in the Starbucks. I would sit either at the window of the busy road, or I would sit at the window facing the mall, look outside. I just love to watch the people go by. So after my coffee, after my time at the Starbucks, my coffee, I would just get the daily coffee. It was about 110 pesos, and I'd put like coconut sugar inside there, some milk inside there. I mean, I didn't really want a coffee. It was just, I just got the cheapest thing on the menu so I could spend time in Starbucks. After Starbucks, I was feeling a bit hungry. I would always head upstairs to the 4th floor to the food court. I'm a creature of habits, and I would always order the same thing. I would get same place, rice with beef and vegetables on top. It was 160 pesos with some drink. I forgot what drink it was. Typical, I mean, in this environment, you keep going to the same place every day, and then eventually someone's going to ask you if you have a girlfriend. And yes, it did happen at this food court place that I always went to. I said no, and someone pointed, she's single, and you got that awkward vibe because you weren't really interested in the girl. Anyway, you just eat your beefaroni and you get the hell out of Dodge. Anyway, after SM, I would be heading straight back home. Now, the walk home was fun because there's people outside, there's girls working in the carinderias, you know, where they sell food. And there is a 7-Eleven I enjoyed going to, and I would get like a beer there. And I drink the beer outside and just watch the traffic go by again. There's one problem. On Google Maps, I can see that 7-Eleven is out of business. Out of business. It's out of business. How often do 7-Elevens go out of business? But this one did, because of this whole, you know, the deadly virus we're all afraid of, it got closed down. Anyway, I would get home and it was like 1,000 hellos. You know, it was just like, more like 1,000 smiles. It was fun walking home. I love the people when you're walking around because there's not many foreigners around. So you sort of stick out. I could just see people on jeepneys and, you know, people noticed. Yours truly, the great Scotty boy. When I was heading home, I had a great time. Kind of like when you're on cocaine, you know, you feel so good and then you go back home and you become zero again and it's just like you're going totally off. So I'd head home. Again, it's the aircon, it's laptop, I'm on the bed, I'm watching TV. Again, hey, I'm on vacation. Eventually, you know, I would have the desire to to get out of bed and head to one of these carinderias. So these carinderias were fun. There was always something fun happening. I mean, I always went in there by myself, just got myself a meal. It was about 60 pesos for the meal. I'd sit down, I'd enjoy it. There were some stories of stuff that happened in the carinderia that I'm just not gonna get into because it requires a separate vid that maybe would be on one of those pay-per-view things. So, but maybe I'll tell the story later on. Anyways, after the carinderia, I would be heading home. Again, it's the aircon. Again, I don't have to go through it. Every time I go home, I just head to bed, turn on the aircon, and open my computer. During this first month, I had a hard time sleeping because it was a jet lag, and I'd be up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. There's nothing really to do, so I would just walk down. I would walk around. I probably usually ended up at the 7-Eleven. So that was fun at the 7-Eleven. You know, you never know who you're gonna bump into. There were groups of guys having drinks. There were gay guys. There were beggars. I mean, it was just, you know, I never went outside with more than 100 pesos on me at nighttime. Okay guys, so let's talk about the budget. We got, as I said, it was a $600 budget. That's 30,000 pesos. Let's go through step by step here. My accommodations were 10,000 pesos. My breakfasts for the month were 1,500 pesos. So now we're at 11,500 pesos with accommodations and breakfast. My daily Starbucks was about 110, 115 pesos per drink because I got the cheapest thing on the menu aside from espresso. That was 3,500 pesos for my Starbucks. So now we're at 15,000 pesos. The daily lunch at the 4th floor food court at the SM was 160 pesos each. So at the end of the month, let's round up, it was about 5,000 pesos. Now we're at 20,000 pesos. Dinner at a local carinderia would cost me about 60 pesos. So at the end of the month, let's round up again, that's about 2,000 pesos. Now we're at 22,000 pesos. Snacks, etc. This is about 6,000 pesos. Now we're at 27,000 pesos. Immigration was it was under 2,000, but let's round up to 2,000. So now we're at 30,000 pesos. So that was my life in Cagayan de Oro, Philippines. So guys, listen very carefully here, okay? I hear this again and again. $600 a month is okay if you want to live like a Filipino. No, it's not. Don't listen to these people. Just listen. All the money in the world is in the West, and you got nothing but obese people sitting in a psychiatrist's chair. Look at the Filipinos. They have no money. They are the happiest people on planet Earth. People in the West find happiness with money. Filipinos find happiness with family. Happiness starts from inside. What you have around you is completely irrelevant. We were taught from birth that having nice things compared to other people is what makes us happy. I know it's difficult to erase that from your mind, but just ask yourself this question. Could you be happy in the world's worst conditions? The answer should be yes, because happiness comes from in here. Nobody can take that away from you. What you have around you is totally irrelevant, does not bring you happiness. You could have 10 homes. It's not going to make you any happier. If it does, you're finding happiness in the wrong place. Happiness comes from here. You've got to search your soul, and happiness is right here. It's not there. Adios. Till next time, my friends.